Hello and welcome to PulseChain Goes Viral Stream. Can PulseChain offer the best ROI of any asset class? We're here today with Gary, we've got Sammy Chico, we've got Raquel, we've got Make It Miriam. Dollar cost is coming in the next 10 minutes. Guys, thanks for being here. How's everyone feeling?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so Gary's got a plane to catch, but he's generously given us his time still. So he's got a little bit of time at the start. So we might just jump in straight into questions for Gary, if that's all right, ladies. And then Dollar Cost will come and take over when Gary's got to jump on his flight. So welcome to the chat here. Ricky was our first person in chat. Thanks for being here, Ricky. We've got DJ Creditus. We've got Blockchain Trends. Guys, we do have a giveaway. So just have a look at those hashtags and start putting them in the stream there for the giveaway. And we'll answer the first question and then Miriam will show her goods and see what prizes you guys can win. So the first question goes to Gary. So Gary, you've had some high profile interviews. You've been president of Richard Hart interview, Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone. What has helped you get into this position of success? Do you have any advice for our listeners on how to become influential in the crypto space?
Thanks for the opportunity to be on the show. It's first for me. I haven't talked directly with some of you. But I apologize first about the sound quality. I am inside of an airport, so if there's a sound announcement, I'm going to go mute for a little bit until it's over, and then I'll come back on as far as my conversation. But yeah, so I would say that networking is a big thing, and you're going to be more relatable the more experiences in life that you have. If you're born into a family that's all farmers, and you learn all of the vocabulary and the experiences of being a farmer, it's harder for you to relate to someone that all of their experiences were in Wall Street. It's just harder. Your vocabulary isn't the same. Your experiences aren't the same. So I think that if I have any form of superpower, it's because I've lived a life of adapting, changed a lot. My origin, my schools changed a lot. My family situations changed a lot. I had a lot of step relatives and things like that in my youth. And then I became very independent minded at 15 or 16. So that sense of independence meant that I was always in charge of where I put my time or resources or whatever. So my farming life, I draw upon when I have a conversation with someone that deals with agriculture or commodities, and selling to a marketplace, a good in that way. When it comes to the next chapter of my experience life, military was a big chunk of my life, age 17 to 29. And the first part of that military experiences was all special forces. I deployed all around the world. I was with very aggro, very alpha, very, if you want to call them patriotic, if you want to call them militant, whatever you want to call them, special forces people are a nature of their own. And I never really played personally the aggressive role. I was always in a medic combat role. So battlefield, helping people with primary and secondary, assessments and triage and, all these things that also are part of farming, basically part of the life cycle, that kind of thing preserved me in those experiences. Like, I think of things differently. And then relating from the military, paramilitary, wannabe military personality type, that was 4 or 5 years of my life. Then later, I was more interested in what would be termed clean medicine, MRI, CT, echocardiography, cath lab, anything to do with implantables of the heart, anything to do with the blood cycle, through the whole system of the biology and chemistry. I loved all that. I loved all the complications of biology and science and tech. So that was probably 25 years of my life. And that was me dealing with PhDs and people that, procedures in medicine are named after, people that have a certain...
Yeah, no worries. Gary's going to mute intermittently, and I'm already loving his story. Like, for anyone to have such a diverse background is actually super interesting. I can relate totally to Gary in different ways. Yeah, keep going, Gary. Doing great.
So that chapter of my life was a majority, but what was great about medicine was it was an umbrella. So I could learn something specialized in computers and, some kind of technology of diagnostics or seeing into the body, and feel like that learning curve was fun for me. and then apply it, by seeing I think in my career, I've seen about 150,000 hearts. That means about 150,000 people, 30 to 45-minute long examinations or procedures that may take 4 or 5 hours or all day in the case of a cath lab or some kind of balloon pump kind of insertion, things like that. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to relatability. Then after that, one of my contracts took me to the Bay Area, and the Bay Area of San Francisco area, California, is very much a hub of startups, very much a hub of all of the applications on your cell phone and all of the hardware that you deal with. It probably originated in that area. And my patient population that were in their 60s and 70s having heart problems, no longer were they pilots and accountants. They were entrepreneurs. They were investors. They were people that had an idea, or they invested in an idea that worked out for them, right? And they're concentrated in the Palo Alto area of San Francisco area. So like my impact or my interest changed from being medicine to being startups and real estate, and tried to promote as best I could an idea to get traction. That was really where I think I came alive in my networking, outside of just like medical affiliations.
Yeah, that's incredible, Gary. And I can relate to so many different parts. Like my nana owned a dairy farm. I spent a lot of time on the farm. My brother's in the military. I'm a doctor. So yeah, I can totally relate to your story, and I'm super into real estate. And I wanted to sort of ask you these questions because you made this move, from medicine basically into entrepreneurship, or I hope I'm getting the right word there. And what is the things that helped you with that transition? Like what were some of the key elements that helped you transition? Yeah, he's got an announcement.
Okay, I think it's over. So being around people that are I want to say this in a very reasonable way. Being around people that are not cynical. Being around people that are not beaten up by life yet. Being around people that are 22 to 30 years old that have an idea. They want to launch a clothing line. They want to build an application. They want to start a hostel to host people in Thailand. Like, I love that because these are people that still have an optimism to them and an energy level to them. So I love that kind of culture. And that culture is actually one of the people from I used to run an accelerator, startup accelerator, for about 3 years, and hosted hundreds of people. Some would stay a few days, some would stay 6 months, but they were doing all these sorts of things. And then one of those people told me about blockchain, told me about cryptocurrency, and that's where my path in crypto began in 2017. So I would say if you're doing the same thing that you were doing, let's say 5 years ago, if you're in the same career, the same path, the same friends, the same circle, you're probably going to be very similar to your peers. You're going to be the average of your 5 closest associations, your closest people in your life. And for me, the windfall has come from being around new people, new ideas, new concepts. That's been more of a windfall for me than anything. So that's kind of
nice
advice I try to
Gary.
put out there.
Nice one. So, ladies, do you want to chime in there? What are some of the questions you want to ask Gary about some of the people that he's met? Gary's obviously very influential in this space, and he's an entrepreneur. Do you want to ask him any specific questions about that?
You met Kyoshi, didn't you? Robert Kyoshi. What was that like, Gary? That would have been interesting.
Yeah, it's not a one-time thing. We've been friends for several years. Same thing with Dollar Cost. Dollar Cost has access, like I do, to the brand, which everyone knows as Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or his 30-plus-year-old writings that became a larger brand that he represents. Robert represents someone that's in his 70s and has a certain theme about where the economy is going. I don't know that it always works out or will work out. I think that a lot of the monetization of what I call doom porn is out there, which is, the economy is going to crash, the real estate market's going to crash, all the communists are going to come and get you. I don't really like that part of some of the brand. I will say that I've learned quite a bit from him over the decades before meeting him in person. And meeting him in person, I think he has plenty of nuggets of wisdom to share. And I think that he has obviously a lot of brand affiliation and benefits of being branded somewhat with Robert. But he is more doom oriented than I like to be. The people I do like to associate with more closely, like I just spent maybe 10 days or 12 days with Jason Hartman. We rented a yacht in Greece, and we had 15 other yachts with us. I got to meet a lot of different people from different spaces and things like that because of other people in Robert Kiyosaki's circle. So Mark Moss is a friend, George Gammon obviously is a friend. These have parlayed into being able to at least give some form of influence to Patrick Bet-David or Adam Sosnick or some of these other things you see on YouTube. Same thing with Dollar Cost. I think Dollar Cost does very well with his picking who to affiliate with and who to keep at arm's length. I think that he has a little bit more liberty than some of us about what he can and can't say, without getting grilled necessarily. But I really respect people like Miguel that are out there. Miguel has onboarded more Hexicans than just about anybody. Miguel, maybe earlier in the adoption amplifier, maybe Simon from Hex Toys had a lot of impact. But I think that like on a day-to-day basis, the person that talks about RH products the most out of all of us to the most outsiders is probably Charlie and Miguel.
Yeah, you've both done like such a good job in this space. And for the ladies, Sammy Chica, I know you've been in this space many years, and you were one of the first ladies that I saw when my husband was watching the Hex Late Show. So thank you for what you do for the Hex community and now for the PulseChain community. So Gary, I wanted to ask you, I got the impression that the Cardone brothers were getting interested in cryptocurrency. What do you think is making these people that have for a long time been in legacy start to think about crypto?
Yeah, actually being involved in the Twitter spaces that don't have a Hex or PulseChain logo at the start or in the title is what led to that relationship with Gary. I will give credit to HVid. I don't know how to say it correctly. I'm going to screw it up, I'm sure. But Hivid, I don't know how you say it. But she was engaging with Gary Cardone on Twitter. And because I knew people that Gary knew, when I came into a Twitter space, we had a good back and forth, a different back and forth. So kind of around the same time frame, contact with Gary. And then also there's other people that were in Hex, I think maybe 2 years earlier, that started the bridge toward the Cardones, toward Grant Cardone specifically. And I remember reaching out to Grant and getting some feedback back then, 2 years ago. But Gary is the identical twin. And Gary actually is, privately, probably more financially successful privately. Publicly, as far as a brand, Grant is more known, 10X, all of the different, jet stuff and public social media influence that he has in real estate. But Gary is more of the investing in charts having to do with the energy sector. So anything to do with, buying and selling of Aramco oil to the United States and things like that. Like that's his wheelhouse. And they have publicly said things about crypto. Obviously, Grant has been making more Bitcoin kind of content recently. Gary also says things about Bitcoin, but he's not a Bitcoin maximalist. When we went to Consensus and introduced, Walrus and all these people, personally to Gary, I think good relationships were forged there. We made great inroads with kind of the circle of influence that the Cardones are around. All their lawyers and all their different VPs of sales and different products and things like that. So myself and Walrus, I think, did really well with that kind of affiliation with a bigger brand name. Also on that same trip, because we went to I think we first went to Consensus, or maybe we went somewhere, I can't remember. But we went to Gary's birthday party. We got invited to his house and had the birthday event with him. And then immediately I parlayed some of the relationship with Adam Sosnick to get some audience time, some conversation time privately with Patrick Bet David. So we went over, drove, another 4 hours to get from basically Tampa area to where the Valuetainment Center is. And then we had, myself, Walrus, Patrick Bet David, and Adams hosting for about 20 minutes alone
That's really
in
cool.
a conference room. So some of this stuff is basically Johnny Appleseed. Some of this is just putting seeds of ideas out there, not always looking for the hard close, but looking for like, where can I find synergy? Richard has said this before about his idea of someone else wearing an expensive watch. He thinks that he can find synergy because he can identify or mark that person. Hey, you have something that's a vocabulary that I also know about. And then where can I find synergy? I think that we can do better about finding synergy instead of finding, conflict. That's what I want the hexagon culture to morph into in the next cycle.
Well said, Gary. Dollar Cost Crypto, thanks for being on the show. I really respect your work, and
What's going on?
it's a huge honor to have you here. Like Gary was just saying, you're probably the person that has onboarded the most hexagons, from other communities. So yeah, we really appreciate your work and appreciate your time today.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm always fashionably late, of course.
Oh, not a bother, not a bother. Dollar Cost, I was asking Gary, basically he was telling us about some of the high profile people that he's met. And one of the reasons I wanted to get you and Gary on stems from, we all saw you and Richard, when he was in the US, partying together and going shopping together. And I thought, like, these guys with their networking have just got this A game that I definitely do not have. So my first question to Gary and now to you, Dollar Cost, was, how can you sort of give advice for our listeners who want to be like an entrepreneur that has these networking skills? Like, how did it come to be that you're able to mix with these high profile people?
Well, I will say initially it wasn't intentional, really. It was just basically because I really liked a certain niche, and that my niche was basically the red pill, effectively. So I started very, very, very early on in the red pill, like 2014 or so, really watching a lot of that stuff there. And then basically through like relationships, I found like smaller channels in the space, and I was able to then, hey, let's come on my show or come on my podcast. I'll do a show with you guys. And then from there, just being buddies with them and stuff, like, hey, you want to come on this other show, or do you want to talk to this guy in the background? Of course. And then just slowly through there, I was able to just meet everybody. And basically I carved myself a niche within a niche. if that makes sense. So I'm the crypto guy to the red pill. I'm the red pill of finance, basically, and to the entire red pill and stuff. And
yeah,
from there,
I watched
go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I mean, I watched a lot of your streams, and I'm just really blown away by your work ethic, and I think you teach that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just working like a crazy person. I mean, it's not healthy for you, I'll tell you that much. But I mean, it just depends on how you do it and stuff. There's guys who are really, really great at systems and stuff, which is awesome, and they're able to just kind of live out the systems. Other guys not so much, but you just got to kind of work on what you have to figure out, like, are you more background-ish, or are you more like hey, nice to meet you. Gary's one of these guys, like master connector. Like I'd call him a master builder. But if your personality really is outgoing and stuff, this is like where the in-person stuff, because like our world has kind of gone from you used to, back in the day, did have to do a lot of door-to-door sales, and now the world's kind of gone to this place where it's just on the phone and the DM. But now the DM is not as powerful unless you have a lot of followers and clout, or a check. Well, check marks don't matter as much anymore now, but like at least to know at least it's not a bot, at least. But sometimes you can DM big people and they're not going to DM you back because they don't know who you are. So you now have to use social skills, the soft skills, in order to actually be able to make these extra jumping connections. Like Corey Costa is a really good one. He's hooked up with like BitBoy and stuff, and some of the guys out there. Shout out to Corey. But yeah, it's just basically figuring out like networks, and then from there, because this can be used for evil, so you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. This is both good. It's like holy trinities and dark triads and stuff. You You got to use it for good. But there's people who like use it to infiltrate. They teach us in like CIA and stuff and the FBI and stuff to how to infiltrate systems and stuff like that. I mean, and Gary knows all about this.
That's
but
part of my training. Part of my military education was actually a lot of the PSYOP stuff and a lot of, like it was reconnaissance. I was first reconnaissance battalion. So you learn a lot of the psychology behind like this stuff. Yeah.
I think that's interesting because I found in my own life, I'll get to a certain point in a certain area of my life where I think, I've gone enough down the rabbit hole. Like there's a rabbit hole and then there's a point that you hit where you're deep enough in that rabbit hole. You need to get out and start burrowing somewhere else. So yeah, I think that's a really interesting point that you brought up there, dollar cost. Raquel, do you have any questions for Gary and dollar cost regarding their networking skills?
I can't think of any because I feel like they've pretty much met all the people that I would like to meet. I mean, I already told you I've been a fan of dollar cost. I've been watching a lot of his streams and stuff, and I've been a fan of Gary. So to be on the same show with you guys is a big honor for me.
We got heaps of questions for you guys, and we really appreciate your time. Before the next question, we're just going to introduce the giveaway to our viewers. We got 49 live viewers, which is quite a lot for my channel. So Miriam has 4 things to give away, everyone. There's 4 different hashtags that you need to write into the chat, and at the end of the show, there's going to be basically, we'll do one hashtag at a time. So the first hashtag is just hashtag hat. So if you write that into the chat, we'll do that as part of the giveaway. The second hashtag is going to be hashtag keychain. So with hashtag hat, Miriam, do you want to just hold up the first giveaway prize for me?
Yeah. So it's a huge little bundle here.
So that is for hashtag hat, and I love that hat. Do you want to do hashtag keychain now? So that's the black hat with the...
Yes.
So this is for hashtag keychain. That's what you would win if you won that one. And then hashtag PulseX. There's a PulseX hat there. Nice.
Did you sew these?
That's so nice. I actually want all these.
Yeah,
hats.
I made them.
They're so good. And then hashtag Hex. There's another one as well.
That's hella cool, dude. I like your Naruto hat. That's hella funny.
Oh, thank you.
I love these. I love these hats. So
where's the
hashtag...
Where's the slash? And where's the slash? You're not in Akatsuki? What the fuck?
Not yet. It's coming.
So good. So good. Yeah. So get those hashtags in the chat, and then I've got a random giveaway generator. All right. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question, dollar cost, is what is PulseChain? What does it stand for? So what aspects about PulseChain make it appealing for millionaires or billionaires to participate?
That's a good question, right? I mean, like there is, like I always explain, right? There's the simple jack version, and then there's the big brain version, right? And then there's a lot of people lost in the middle, right? Obviously, there's a big opportunity because the number can go up quite substantially because obviously, I think you guys already heard of Hart's Law and stuff like that. So like a lot of like PulseChain and PulseX are quite linked together because of the big liquidity pool. There's a lot of money in between these two coins. PulseX is also going to be LP'd with a lot of other coins in the future. And PulseChain is LP to everything basically as well. So if PulseChain does really well, PulseX will also go up quite substantially as well. Now it's just more or less whether it's because I think everything's going to have its season. There's going to be there's a lot of FUD going on right now in the PulseChain ecosystem just because. I mean, it's not a psyop really, but like people just want like there's a lot of people like OGs as well and stuff that are just like they're making like fake posts about like, oh, fuck, this shit's so bad, fuck, but it's a lie. They're just trying to get the small guys to just dump their bags and sell and stuff and allow the price to crash so they can buy cheaper. Basically, that's kind of what's going on, right? In terms of why people would mess around with it and stuff, it's a centralized network. It's the most important thing about the PulseChain community and stuff and the Hex community is that we have the largest amount of like single YouTubers for a community in any crypto right now, and still to this day we have. That's for Hex, but now with PulseChain as well, because it's kind of like an extra lane. These extra lanes have entered. There's going to be guys that are like PulseChain only. There's guys in PulseX only. There's going to be guys that are like the shit coins on the PulseChain network. I'm an E-Hex guy. I'm a P-Hex guy. It's like I was making all these LBGT jokes and stuff like I'm an E, I'm an P, I'm an X, I'm a P. Right, but there's all these lanes and stuff open now, and now there's the analytics guys. There's guys who are going to chart. They're going to chart everything. Like, oh, I'm an LP guy. I show guys how to yield farm the most actively. And there's all these lanes now. So, but that's showing that there's so much interest, and that's what's most important because like what gives money power is people. If we say this has value, this has value, period, right? And some people are going to be wanting to make investments in this place because they think it's cheap. And then once this bull market starts really revving up sometime in 24 and 25, the prices will increase quite substantially, because we're talking like this time around, we're talking with Ethereum, right? Which is like, I wouldn't call it boomer money, but it's like the two blue chips that everybody knows, like it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? And what the upgrades that's happened to Ethereum and the sort of things that are happening with Bitcoin, with possibly these spot ETFs actually happening this cycle around. I mean, we're talking about a $14,000 Ethereum price happening this time around. Where like last time we hit $4,800 for Ethereum, $5,100 on certain exchanges, right, for Ethereum. We're talking about maybe a 2.5x from the all-time highs, maybe if I'm being conservative. That's $14,000. And if we have if we have like a hot boy summer or hot girl summer, right? City girls, we up, we're talking $25,000 on Ethereum. That is a lot of money. And we're talking
that's
about
bullish for alts. I mean, that's bullish for PulseChain. We're going to follow on.
It's really weird. It's like, so, I mean, it's like the only time that so I know there is some truth to trickle down economics, but in crypto, it is real. Like trickle down economics, like if Bitcoin and Ethereum pump up, everything will generally pump within 80% of Bitcoin and Ethereum's pump. And that extra like 20% is like all concentrated on the highest market cap coins. PulseChain's, if I look on Dex Screener, right, like right now we're like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're like the 5th largest on chain through volume. When we came out, we were number 2. Right, we even bid Binance Chain, and then Binance Chain ended up making a couple of meme coins in order to increase their volume. So it like passes up. It's
incredible
a little bit, right?
For a new chain. We're like, how many days old? We're not even 50 days old, I don't think.
Right. So that should show you the power. Most chains, when they come out, they can't get to that 2 spot or 3 spot. It's usually the fourth or third. That's where they stay, and then they go down from there. So we've already touched it. We've had the ability to go to number 2. So that means when we have our next like big wave, we're going to go back to the 2 spot again. And this is a really important kind of spot we're in right now. But right now, that's the opportunity, is that like you guys, I mean, like there's all you guys right now streaming. Like right now, like I said this on a Twitter space the other day. I was on with like Buck and the guys from Fiat and stuff, and I was speaking to some Texan guys and stuff inside the group and stuff, and I was telling them that the only one doing like Twitter spaces is Hexicans and Pulse guys, NFT dudes, and like some random, like if a project says, hey, today we're doing our one update, first time in 7 months update, we're doing like a space.
Exactly.
That's the only dudes doing spaces. So like the only groups that are just consistently dropping these spaces are essentially Hexicans and stuff. So this is why I've been pushing so fucking hard. So fucking hard to get people to get on Instagram, because basically we dominate Twitter, we dominate YouTube. Let's fucking dominate Instagram. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's the biggest networking thing we can do right now, is get everybody on Instagram, everyone follow each other, get everyone's followers up. And now when this guy decides to make a post and stuff, it can go a little more. We hashtag, anytime we hashtag like crazy on Twitter, we go viral. When PulseChain launched, I mean, we took over YouTube on crypto and stuff. If we had Instagram as well, it's just getting this kind of like this trifecta together. And that's kind of that's like, to me, it seems social media wise, that's the next power move we can end up doing, is like really pushing the community towards Instagram, because that's really the, like, because I come from the red pill space, right? I mean, it's basically the world's largest dating app, effectively.
Yeah.
But it becomes people's social card, effectively. Like, if you have a big Instagram and stuff, people can get jobs off of just having a big social media presence and stuff. Or like, there is power in clout, of course. Or for, even if you're not saying anything bad and you have a lot of followers, it could be the deciding factor to push you to get a job and stuff. So it's really important now, especially if we're heading towards like communism. Like if people are having trouble getting money, then they're going to go towards social games, which is basically cloud games. Yeah, to show like who deserves the value, basically.
Yeah, and I think we're well positioned for that. Like, I onboarded my hairdresser yesterday, and I'm so used to getting rejected with my crypto conversations at work, because I work with conservative people. Yeah, well, I'm a doctor, and doctors, a lot of doctors with finance, they just haven't focused on finance, really. Yeah. And Gary was saying, like, we need to play on our relatability. So my hairdresser, she she was fully on board with crypto, like off the get-go. She's like, yeah, I want to get in now. Like, what should I do? And she wanted to make these videos already. She's like, yeah, I'm going to do hairdressing videos. And Gary was saying, like, we should all play to our relatability with our videos and our online content. Raquel, do you have Instagram?
I used to. I don't anymore.
We'll have to get you to fire it up.
Let me make a quick comment about the medical
Sure,
experience. So I began my medical career, if you want to call it, at 17, and that was the military. And going from handwritten charts to a medical or EMR, electronic medical records, is extremely difficult for the mindset of a physician during that curve. They are the fastest to adopt a diagnostic tool, like something that's new to look at and give an answer, medically, but they are the slowest from a culture, in my opinion, of 35 years in medicine, to adopt a new innovation technology thing. That's
so
just
true.
rare. What I find is, like a lot of people I've seen in the cross-section of people that participate in crypto, people in crypto like to comment about how much of the youth are holding crypto or participating in crypto. It's true. They're the first to adopt something, right? Because what I was saying earlier, but maybe in the green room, was I like being around people that haven't been beaten up by life yet, and they're not cynical yet and doom porn kind of obsessed about the next collapse. Like the youth in general will experiment more. They have more risk tolerance with their $1,000 or whatever it may be. So like, even though they don't have a lot of asset base, you can comment about like boomers passing money to their kids or their grandkids, sure. But they're also the first to speculate on something new. When a new platform, I don't know if it's going to thrive or it's going to flop, but Threads, right? Facebook is doing this Threads thing to try and compete with Twitter. Probably the signups there are not going to be 50-year-olds like me. Probably the signups are going to be the people that are like, oh yeah, that's new, and I can be the early adopter, and I can be, the first mover. If you look at YouTube, the two people that have the most influence as far as subscribership are still, I believe, Mr. Beast and PewDiePie. And PewDiePie basically dominated the algorithm because he was posting content about Minecraft, I believe, and he was doing so from like Sweden. So like the algorithm was helping him because he was in a different, basically to push the algorithm from Sweden of English speaking content and all this other stuff. And he dominated. He got like 120 or 130 million subscribers. Mr. Beast has his modus operandi about how he builds his brand and synergy with other things. So like the youth are the first to adopt, I think, cryptocurrencies in general. And, I heard part of this today also listening for a few hours to I Am B-Roots and Buck Fiat's Twitter space. I listened to that for some time. And I think people should all listen to it and kind of digest and pick apart what you like and you don't like about each of the two. The two of them that would be so different from each other. A CFA that basically has dealt for 20 years with high net worth people, looking at charts and being a wealth planner. That's Buck. And, basically the meme god, the Moon King, having a conversation about whether memes are going to dominate or whether utility tokens are going to dominate. Like at the end of the day, 95% of what they said agreed with each other. Like 5% was very different, but 95% of what they said was very thematic and I thought useful. It's similar, in my opinion, Miguel can get rosy cheeked over me trying to flatter him. But he's saved so many people hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. And
I'm gonna run away now.
So he has done that. He's done that partly through people just saying, hey, why don't you put your toe in? And if they lost $500, then they learned something from it and they improved their skill set if they stuck around. That's what this crypto cycle stuff is to me. You might pretty much everybody that enters the first cycle, they lose money. Pretty much everybody, the second cycle, they do better. And the third time, they often kill it. Like they kill it because they don't fall into the narratives as easily. They take some of their profit off the table, in some kind of system for themselves. They listen maybe to influencers that hopefully have their best interest at heart. Hopefully, like everybody plays the influence game. But I think that out of the ethics of the people that I've been around, and I don't say this just because of friendship, I see Miguel in real life, like at the Bitcoin event or other events, and I see him in real life and how he behaves. He's a proxy for how I think that Charlie behaves. I don't know Charlie as well, but I would say that, out of the people that are involved with hacks and say, this is probably a time where you should probably sell some of your position. I think he's a more honest person than those in the space.
Yeah,
So,
I love that about
I praise
you,
that.
dollar cost. I love it when you I love it when you speak truth. I think that's it's really powerful when you do that as well. So quick question to Sammy Chica, and then this question from chat, and then we've got a few more questions on marketing. So Sammy Chica, in your experience, is it better to onboard a person that's got no experience in cryptocurrency or a person from another crypto community altogether?
Okay, so in my community, like people know I love crypto, and Claz, I have the same thing. My girlfriends say to me, "Don't mention the C word." Like they are just like not interested. And one of my friends actually made her a wallet and put PulseChain in there, and made her have it, and I make her watch it. I just find there's a lot of disinterest. Another one of my friends who said that, they're just not technically minded. Can you do it for me and babies do it for me? Nah, you can onboard anyone, but there's got to be a level of interest. And I think that level of interest is, see if you're living a good life, you're paying your bills, you're going on holidays.
You gotta bully them. You gotta bully them, Sam. No. You gotta grab the stick, grab the rod, beat the child.
True,
I think that's where we're headed, because like I'm gonna at this point gonna have to replace all of my friend circle because nobody's really into crypto. No one at work talks to me anymore, so I'm like, fuck, I gotta make some more friends.
Well, it's like what Gary said. Gary said you're a product of the people you surround yourself with. So you grow and change, the people that you surround yourself changes too.
Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki got drawn into this Fresh and Fit podcast he did, which blew my mind. But he talks about these forks in the road, and he's like, throughout your life, you will have, like, if you're young, like 10 forks in the road, and major changes that successful people have gone through, like major sort of career changes. And that podcast, you guys, if you have a chance to listen to, is just incredible. So, Sammy, I hear that you're coming up against a lot of resistance. For some reason in my life, people are wanting to be onboarded. They're jumping at me lately, which is a complete change in the last 2 weeks from what I'm used to. So I think that. So Gary and Dollar Cost, I mean, what do you guys think? Like, would you rather, let's say you guys both know, say, someone who's a billionaire, right? And this person has no crypto experience versus a billionaire that is tied to Bitcoin. Who's going to be a better person to onboard onto PulseChain?
I mean, through my experience, it's always better to grab people who don't have anything experience in crypto at all. It's better just complete people. Like it's easier to get people that are obviously hyper interested people in some other aspect of life, whether real estate. It doesn't have to be investments. I mean, it's just always easier. What ends up happening is that people fall for a maximalism poison, or they. The minute they learn about crypto, there's sort of like this weird little like adolescent stage that people go through. It's like once they're kind of like they've gone past the kindergarten stage of learning a little bit about crypto, then they get ingrained that like I know everything, and then eventually they get hit real hard by the market a couple times, and then from there they fix themselves to be a little open, or they lean into maximalism. And the tough thing is most of them lean into maximalism, a lot of them and stuff. So this is why it's so difficult to like onboard other crypto people, except for when the bull market's really hot, because there's so much money around that people are like, I know this is stupid, but like it's going to make money, so I'll throw money in anyway, right? And then that's how and that attitude I just said, right, exactly how I said it right there, is how a lot of these real crypto OGs are. Well, I just threw money. Like they're like, it's like, well, I threw money in. I'm rolling the dice right now, right? I'll throw some money in there and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a small position. Like these are like, yeah, I dabble with shitcoins, but it's a small portion of my portfolio. Or they're complete liars. Like there's a lot of maximalists that privately invest into a lot of shitcoins. but they don't say that. Like, oh, I mean, me and Gary were talking about this all the time during Bitcoin Miami. We're like, look at all this Bitcoin money, and all these Bitcoiners are trying to talk to us about altcoins. Like we were since PulseChain was brand new at the time, and every Bitcoiner was talking to us about PulseChain. Was like, hey, what's oh, you're the PulseChain guys. Okay, cool. Hey, everyone wanted to talk to us, right? Why is that?
Yeah.
Because the way you make money in the space is you take your this is the original use case for altcoins. Was you take your Bitcoin into altcoins to make more Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right. That's the classic thing. But in terms of like a billionaire, billionaires are very specific people. I've talked to very, very, very wealthy people. They are, I mean, outside of maybe there's always a couple lucky guys, of course. I mean, everyone's lucky to get a billionaire status, but these guys are, if they're in the billionaire status or the $100 million status and stuff, they didn't get there out of just complete luck. I mean, it was a lot of hard work. These guys are very smart, and and the thing is like, it's different from like being worth like 10 million, 5 million, or $1 million, where like when people know that you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, you're getting people, almost every other conversation is somebody trying to, it becomes a business lunch or dinner, where like they're trying to pitch you on something. So it becomes this whole thing where like you have to, it's kind of a hard thing to explain, but you have to see what type of personality they have to know which way to go. Some people, they're really cut and dry, like, okay, what's the proposal? The thing is, if don't bring me shit. Like we were talking to, I mean, I just did it hasn't come out yet, but I just did an entire interview with Robert Kiyosaki. It's going to come out pretty soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. Robert Kiyosaki. And then I think we're going to do one, I think a month or two with Ken McElroy and a couple other guys as well. But with someone like, as an example, with someone like Robert and stuff like that, he's like, all right, pitch me then. But you have to have your whole, like, he wants it. When you go to these guys, it has to be the whole thing. You have to have it, like, everything mapped out. It's like if you just come into a conversation and you're not even trying to sell, and he asks you to sell them, you better have your case already kind of in your head already, exactly how you're going to say it, because you'll look foolish. And if you're like, I've seen guys come up to Robert, like we were having lunch and dinner with him, and I saw guys come up to him trying to pitch him on some real estate deals. So where's your proposal? Where's it? Like, you better have everything formulated, right? With crypto, because it's a little more loosey goosey, it's more like you better have like the entire macro situation and kind of like what's the kind of ROI on this and stuff. So it's
I wanted to talk about macro, and Jack, I apologize, I haven't got to your question until now. So I want to talk about parts of the cycle. So Jack's question is, what's your predictions on when Richard's products are going to have a new all-time high?
Probably sometime this year. There's probably like either we retest back up. It all depends if we finally get a run on Bitcoin and Ethereum. If we get back on, because basically the market's just like we've hit our high or local high, we've come back down, and now we're just in kind of this sideways zone to down zone right now. Once Bitcoin and Ethereum really start heating back up and we crack above $34,000 Bitcoin and we start getting into the $40,000 Bitcoin range, the market will start, like, it's speculation time and stuff. Oh shit. The market will come back up, and then the test is going to be whether we can, maybe PulseX can touch 14 again, or 34 for PulseChain. So we'll have to see how strong the buyback, and because there's a lot of projects, like right now with PulseChain, right? There's a ton of projects people sacrifice for, and they're all basically wait. I mean, I did a spaces with people, and they all a lot of project founders basically said, yeah, we're basically waiting for things to get kind of warm again, right? So there's a lot of projects that are basically ready, and other projects are not. They're like thinking their stars or competition isn't launching it yet because they're waiting. But a lot of those. Basically, what's going on is a lot of projects are waiting for like PulseChain to start kind of going back up again, PulseX to go back up again, PHEX really pumping and stuff, and EHEX and all this other stuff to start pumping, and then they'll launch it, and then So that's why I'm saying there's a good chance we probably will get a new all-time high sometime this year if we get Bitcoin and Ethereum to really pump back up where people feel bullish again, because then people are willing to launch all these projects like liquid loans and all these other things like that, Power City. And, once we get this, we're going to get this whole like 2.5 month like little cycle of like boom, 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 boom. Like it's going to be like a altcoin project season. Because like the only thing that launched was besides like a couple meme coins and stuff, shout out to Pepe, but besides a couple of meme coins and Richard talking about fucking like PRC20s, which is kind of hilarious to me. And these yield farms on PulseX was just some of the stuff that Buck was doing in the team from like Fiat and Famous and stuff. And they're launching some stuff in the next 20 or 30 days. But besides that, like nobody else launched anything.
That's interesting. One particular question I wanted to ask you about, I watched this old Richard Hart stream and he said one of the things that could hold back capitulation would be the grayscale discount. Like, why would Bitcoin start pumping when people from Legacy can buy this so-called grayscale Bitcoin at like a 30% discount? But I think that discount's actually reducing now.
Yeah, but it's based off of Charles Schwab is trying to buy out GBTC right now. So Charles Schwab is trying to get rid of them because basically, if we have a spot ETF, because if the minute you have a spot ETF, why buy grayscale?
Yeah.
What's the point? Like BlackRock's going to have it. You also have was it Kathy Woods? Kathy Woods that's another. I think Kathy Woods might actually get it. Who knows? But it's either basically there's all these applications now for these Bitcoin ETFs. If they pass this year, which I think there's a good chance it could pass, right? Maybe it passes early next year when Genser's out of office. Thank God. Once he's out of office, it'll still take a full year to 9 months for it to actually come out. So if we have it passed this year, we won't get it until the summer, till Hot Boy summer or City Girl summer of next year, you know? So, and if it comes out late, if it passes late next year, then we're not getting until 25 or early 25. So there's a lag, there's kind of a lag, but it's a big pump of it. Like, woo, we passed it. Oh boy. And so everyone's buying up because they're like, and everyone's going to buy because the minute it's passed, everyone's going to start buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins because it's like, finally, we have some dum-dums to sell to, which is what the institutional investors and like they'll probably be thinking. And then a lot of big investors are in the crypto, and the guys who've been in crypto a long time are like, fuck yeah. Because then we'll have all these dumb boomers buy with their 401ks and stuff, all these crypto and stuff. Yes. So like, okay, we have people to sell, time to buy cheap now. And then that's when they get the balls to buy, basically.
Nice. Yeah. So Gary, do you want to give us your thoughts on timing in the cycle? When are we going to see Bitcoin and ETH start to do their pump so that altcoins can have their season?
So some of my input comes from being at Consensus with Walrus and also being with Miguel at Bitcoin Miami. Some of the narratives that I'm hearing, and maybe it gets broadcast, maybe it doesn't, I've already said myself, which are the halvening narrative, people looking at charts, people that make content talking about the halvening, meaning that more people hear about the halvening and participate in the halvening build up. That cycle has played out 4 times, I think, 4 times in its history. And it's always a buy the rumor, sell the news. I think that the Fed funds rate policy, my opinion is that will go down. That will synergize in some ways with the Bitcoin halvening and the presidential election that's coming up in the United States in 2024, November of 24. So there's only been 3 times that a sitting first-term president didn't get reelected. And Biden's first term is about to go into competition with what does the market think? What does the average homeowner, average employed or unemployed person, average person that has a pension, has a mutual fund, what do they think, whether they're in crypto or not? Do they feel good? Do they feel bad?
No. Yeah.
So I think that the synergy really has been set out there that 2025 is the year for the all-time highs and blow-off tops, and the cycle to play out. Basically after 500 to 700 days after the halvening. And the halvening I think is like March or May of the 24. Yep. So can these other smaller products and projects like PulseChain hit an all-time high? Sure, because it's a new chain that's 50 days old. Sure, it absolutely can hit an all-time high in 24. It doesn't mean that that's the all-time high in this bull run cycle. So like I'm counting more toward accumulating the products that I think have less competition. I think that PulseChain personally has less competition. It's a better opportunity than getting into a different L1, right? Or the rebirth, the resurgence
Oh,
And just while Gary's got a bit of connection issues there, we had a question in the chat. I'm trying to find the exact wording for, and we'll go back to Gary once his connection comes back. It basically was to you, Dollar Cost, about what are your long-term holds?
Dogecoin, Pepe. No. Well, I mean, obviously it's Ethereum, super long-term hold for me. Hex, both of them and stuff. Dun dun dun. Right. Both of the hexes. PulseChain, PulseX, of course. I've been made investments in a lot of the the fiat famous projects and stuff like that as well. And I'm still looking for any good. I've done Mintra, like liquid loans and stuff like that, like these kind of projects. But besides that, I'm really big into Phantom and a couple other players and stuff outside of the PulseChain ecosystem as well and stuff. So I've always believed in having some portfolio outside of PulseChain and Hex and stuff. But it's obviously there's much more coins this time around and more things to do. So obviously it's going to become a lot larger, the portfolio and stuff. But still, I always recommend having some Ethereum or some USDC on the side, just because then you have the firepower to actually buy right now.
Oh, that's good stuff. So Dollar Cost, you mentioned before, so the Richard's marketing strategy kind of has changed a little bit recently. He opened some new farms on PulseX, including Pepe, Link, Aave, Uni. So do you want to talk us through, your take on that? What's the methodology there?
Basically, it's kind of onboarding. I get the Pepe one. I don't really understand why he did Chainlink or stuff like that. I don't know. I don't like Chainlink. I think it's a trash coin personally, but it could be to possibly. The only thing I can think of strategically is that basically he was chumming up some of the Chainlink guys possibly in the background to yield farm over here, and then maybe they're like, well, we did make some money in PulseChain. Maybe we should make it easier to do the oracles and stuff over here on PulseChain. Maybe that's the only thing I could possibly think of. And then on the Uniswap side, the Uniswap side made a little more sense because we were basically when Hex first started, we got the largest portion of the airdrop because we were the ones actually using Uniswap back in the day. We received 7% of all the Uniswap tokens. And then we sold them for Hex and stuff. So that was Christmas. That was pretty nice. So shout out to Randy. I think Randy was the first one who told us on stream, like, there's an airdrop right now. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, then we're like, holy crap, 400 Uniswap tokens. So even if you did a failed transaction, you sent it, you did one swap, even anything, you touched anything with Uniswap, you got 400 coins. If you provided liquidity, you got even more coins. And if you provide a lot of liquidity, you got a lot of coins. I knew some people that got like $70,000 in Uniswap tokens just for liquidity. Big money.
That's far out.
Yeah, it was really nice because at the time you got to think like 400, like at the was it $3 at the time or $5? Like people got like $1,400 per airdrop, $1,100 per airdrop.
Yeah.
Per wallet. So some of us, like I had multiple wallets. So I was just like, it was just Christmas time. I was like, dun, 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 like every wallet. And then I had onboarded a lot of people, and even in my personal life. So like I had a lot of my family members who I just like, make a wallet. I'll show you how to use Uniswap. And then I literally like it was like I think November, or it was like almost Christmas time. I think I remember at the time. It's hard to remember. It was like in the last quarter of the year, and I just had them all come to my house. I had this conveyor belt line of people like, okay, here's your Uniswap tokens. Here's your Uniswap tokens. Here's your Uniswap tokens. And it was like, it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun to see everyone make like $2,000 to $5,000 just from like listening to me to mess around with the wallet. It was really cool. Because everyone was like, "Holy crap, I got money now!" Oh, and they're all happy and stuff. So that was a cool event. I do like how they did the Uniswap airdrop, but most people don't do the airdrops like that anymore. Really, it's it's very different. So that would make sense because a lot of
hey guys, I gotta jump out. I'm so sorry, my plane's gonna board.
No problems, Gary.
I appreciate having the opportunity. Sorry about the dropout earlier. I do like the narrative around all-time highs in 25, but. Last thing is, if you do know high net worth people with a big influence, things like that, then I'm willing to make the trip. I've always said that to try to be some kind of bridge. I will be going to the Nomad Capitalist event in Kuala Lumpur. That's September the 6th through the 9th. It's basically the audience that Andrew likes to target is 8 to 9 figure wealth people or entities that represent 8 to 9 figure wealth. So if someone wants to go to an event like that or go to that event with me, DM me. You need to be a public brand. You need to be a public personality, and I'm happy to try and introduce you or network with you as best possible with that group. But for now, I gotta go. Thanks.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate
Hey,
your time.
Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Sorry, Miguel. What were you saying?
Just sad now.
Just feeling sad.
Yes. What's it called? Yeah. So Uniswap made sense because everyone had an airdrop, and maybe some people still had some Uniswap tokens. Possibly, I don't know why, but like maybe. So that made sense to me. Pepe, the Pepe one made sense because it was the big news. Everyone it was like Doge and Shiba weren't the ones really pumping. It was Pepe who pumped. Like I personally did really well with Pepe. I mean, literally have a fucking clock over here with the rock in the corner. But so I participated in that because I had the PRC20 versions of Pepe and everything like that. So that one made sense because there was a lot of wallets, and then people were trying to learn. Some people were back holding, so obviously so a lot of people had the PRC20s, so people were able to yield farm it and stuff. So that one made sense to me, virality wise. But the WBTC one, I mean, I guess we had given free hex to Bitcoiners originally. So maybe like what Richard was trying to do is trying to get some of these, maybe one or two extra big whales and a couple, because it's possible that through all this stuff, we maybe have a couple Chainlink guys, we have a couple of these Uniswap dudes, and then we have some Pepe. We probably, in terms of the most amount of people we probably onboarded, it's probably from Pepe side, but they're smaller players. They're smaller players, but more risk takers. And then we have possibly maybe we attracted one or two of these big Bitcoin guys, and then that's the game basically to me. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of my questions was, is it easier to onboard one person with, say, 100,000? This is all just relative. They could have a lot more. Or 100 people with $1,000. Like, is it easier to onboard one massive whale versus all these tiny little, tiny fish?
As an individual, yeah, it's easier to onboard the $100,000 guy. But here's the thing: is like you guys, we have channels, and so that's scale. So by us YouTubing and bringing people in and stuff like that, and then you're onboarding a lot of because you never know, like you may like they may have found you class and stuff. They start streaming, they're like, wow, this, and it's just some guy like you're a doctor. I mean, literally, like you'll never know. One day, like just by you being like quacking it up all over the doctor suite, that somebody decides to go, you know what? All right, I'm gonna throw some money in, and now without you even knowing, you onboarded some like sometimes we don't even know who we onboard. It's kind of crazy to think on YouTube. Now, personal ones, that's because like that you can actually physically do, right? And you did, right? But because and you onboard whoever you can, but obviously if you can get a bigger person, go for the bigger person, of course, just because it's scale. They're more dramatic, but passively we all are onboarding over our life as well as the people that watch us on YouTube as well, And nice. I did have a question for you actually.
Sure.
So you said recently, like you're starting to have more people kind of believe you and kind of like on board through. Is it because you just started barely? I mean, have you said like I have a YouTube channel now? Is that what you think?
No. So at work, I'm known as the person that knows about crypto. So if anyone wants to talk about crypto, they know where to go. And it's not that I talk about it at work because I get shut down so much. But people at work, they're very good at identifying outliers, I would say. Like our whole job is to diagnose people, right? So we like to walk in the room and see the color of someone's face. Are they sweating? Are they pale? What is the triageness? What does that say? What are the obs? We use like 1,000 different variables constantly, and we're, using our knowledge to flex between different diagnosis and management pathways and stuff. So everybody is sort of, whether they like it or not as a doctor, they're tuned into a million tiny things at one time. And if people know that you as a doctor are into cryptocurrency, so your belief in your own finances is not tied up in being a doctor forever, that to them is a bit glitchy. And they know about it. Every single person from the executive level to the whole hospital, they know about it. There's a glitch. And so if anybody is interested in crypto, they would come to me. And this, for the last year and a half, has been no one. In the last month, I found one person who's heavily into crypto. Not my crypto, but he's heavily into crypto. And then in the last week, I'm getting people, even though we're all busy, like track me down in the corridor and have these crypto conversations. And then at the hairdresser, I was like sick of just lying about liking crypto because I was getting my hair done. And she was like, why are you getting your hair done for? Have you got an event? I'm like, no, I'm a crypto streamer. So tomorrow I'm going to get on stream at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to talk about crypto. She's like, what? Oh, I'm fully about to buy crypto. Like, what do I do? And she's just like fully on into how she wished that she had, she wished that she was into crypto, and she got wrecked in the past, but she's willing to like learn about it so she doesn't get wrecked again. And so I feel like there's this exponential change that has just happened where people in legacy are recognizing like the increase in interest rates is killing them with their real estate portfolio. A lot of people into real estate, me, myself included, recognizing that the real estate portfolio that I'd built, multiple houses, is not going to retire me. And so they're thinking, well, what about my shares? And they check their tax, statement at the end of the year from their share portfolio, and they figure out they've lost money, and they're like, oh, my share portfolio has lost money. And so this is what is driving legacy into crypto. And you see it on Twitter as well, these big names like, Grant Cardone getting into crypto, his brother mentioning crypto. People that you would think wouldn't traditionally like to talk about cryptocurrency are interested. I think it's a unique time where we're at the almost capitulation stage to onboard.
Yeah, they haven't been able to kill us yet. That's what's going on. And we're still, like, after all this stuff, they talk shit about us, we're still $1 trillion industry. Even now. That's the crazy part. Like, in like 2017, the all-time high was $640 billion at the peak of retardation. In 2017, we hit that. We crashed down really low. I mean, really low. We're talking, Ethereum was like $78. Bitcoin was $3,100 in 2019. In 2021, we hit 3.3 trillion.
Wow.
From 640, 3.3 trillion. We're over $1 trillion right now. That means we're probably going to 6 trillion, 5 trillion. I think all of gold right now is like 10 trillion right now. Like every little step, we're getting closer, and we're getting closer and closer on them and stuff like that. So that's what's going on. And then in terms of, just to go back to your question or go back to your statement, I think it's just because you have to put the energy out there. Like, I think probably, people were just like shocked because they thought of you some sort of different way. And when you talk about crypto, they're like, what the hell? And then once they figure out that that's actually who you are, and that's like, it's not a gimmick or not fake, then people were like, well, she really is about that. Well, I have. And then they go up to you. I think, so it's like basically because you put it out there and you kept putting it out there, the energy changed, and then people are like, well, there's a lot of closet crypto people, or there's a lot of closet people that are like I really want to ask her about this. This is pretty crazy. And then that's what's happening right now.
So I had one final marketing question before we sort of get into more social stuff. So do you think crypto, like specifically PulseChain, could offer the best return on investment of any asset class?
Yeah. It's like, yes, 1,000%. There's like no, unless the only thing that could maybe I think Rich has even talked about this a little bit and stuff. The only thing is like possibly maybe like, is depending on the person, maybe they don't know the right cryptos to invest into, right? But the only other thing that you could make more percentage gains would be possibly an investment into your own business, you start your own business and then you grow it to like a few $100,000. Because like, imagine other than your time, somebody puts in $2,000 into a business and then they start making $100,000, $200,000 from that. That's quite a big gain on a couple grand. But for the most part, right, then the limiting factor is like people can't. It's hard for people to grow it past like 100,000 or 200,000. So crypto is really this kind of beautiful thing where real estate nothing compares to the amount of percentage gains that you can earn in X's, right? I mean, like when the bull market's starting to come back up, people are like, I don't get out of bed for a 2X. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of money that we're talking about in the crypto space. In real estate, there's cash flow. But when people say like, oh wow, houses hit, like I bought a house here and it's doubled in price, and you put 20% down, I mean, you've essentially done like a 5X on money and the property and stuff. So it's like, oh wow, properties have gone 2 times in the last 5 years. That basically says like you've just basically done a 5 to 10X on capital invested into it, not including cash flow or just, maybe you're just living in the house basically, right? So there's leverage in real estate as well and stuff, but just the average return is going to be somewhere between a 10 to 30x for the average person to the portfolio if they stick through the bear market right now. And then some of us, we're probably going to get more X's than that, but that's kind of like overall, because a lot of people kind of move money around and kind of fuck up here a little bit there, but the bull market kind of like erases the sins of being dumb, basically.
I love it. All right, here we got a good question from DJ Creditus. Do you guys reckon we're still in pre-viral phase for PulseChain and PulseX in the broader crypto community?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Richards hasn't streamed at all. Mm-hmm. The movie's not out yet.
Yeah, what's the update on that? I think there's a trailer in 3 days.
It's I don't know, I've heard the grapevine, it's coming very soon. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm going to get through some of these questions in the chat, and then we're going to do a giveaway shortly. So Raquel or Miriam, do you have some questions for dollar cost crypto?
I think one of the things that I don't really hear people talk as much about anymore is the incentive token, and if there's anything new going on with that.
Absolutely nothing.
I think that's why nobody's about it right now.
I was telling my students that, like, if you were going to yield farm to dump, like, so as an example, if the price, like when the incentive token price is going like this, you should probably sell it once every 2 days, right? You just like wait 2 days, yield it, gain a bunch, then sell it as the price is going up. If the price is going down, you sell it 3 times a day. So what I mean by that is, because the price is going up and it keeps, if the chart looks really good and it looks like it's still climbing, you then save up your coins for like 1 or 2 or 3 days, and then at the price, and then sell it. Then he's like, oh cool, it's like, because imagine like when it's like $20 and it was going to $30. So imagine like you wait those extra 3 days, now it's $25. You just gained an extra 25% in profit just from selling. But as the price is coming down and the chart's going like this, or I guess like that, actually technically like that, when you wake up in the morning, you harvest it, you sell it. You get back from work, you harvest it, you sell it. Before you go to sleep, you harvest it, you sell it. When you wake up, you harvest it and sell it. You wake up in the middle of the night because you think your coins went to zero, you harvest it and you sell it. Right? So when the chart pattern is looking like this, you as soon as you get it gone, because the price just keeps going, will keep going lower on you. But basically, I mean, if we look at what Richard's been doing, like PSYOP wise, or like this 4D chess wise way, right? Every time a competitor launches something, he does something to kind of cuck them out a little bit, or like not make it as like, oh, it's nice, but it's not as nice as it used to be. Like, I have just launched the most newest thing in the world that's going to completely revolutionize and destroy PulseX. Matcha on PulseX. Fuck. Or like, like he does, and like he has these up. Like the thing is like I looked in the GitHub. There's no updates. Well, dudes, like that they're doing upgrades on a private testnet that you can't see anything on, and then when they're ready, they put it on GitLab or GitHub or any of these places. So I think there won't be any upgrade. There won't be any upgrade to incentive token until the BBC token comes out with 9-inch. Now, some people say that shit's never coming out. Well, if it doesn't, it doesn't. It rugged, right? But if it does, their incentive token, so 9-inch token, which is their governance token, will for the first 2 days you get to yield farm it. After that, the yield, so those 2 days you get to yield farm it, and then incentives go live for the BBC token. And then the BBC token, you can single site stake it, you can LP farm it, and then you can vote with it and lock it up. So with all those stuff, some people are saying like BBC is better than incentive token, and then this is probably when Richard drops the other BBC on top of them. Might do a little upgrade, maybe single sites, because like I'm kind of glad that the community did kind of hold Richard accountable for like single site staking for PulseX, because he like that was supposed to happen, but there is probably going to be single site staking for incentive token and on the PulseX token, or there might be a little more time locking features possibly, which is pretty nice as well, So these sort of things, like there's also like a very small, I think like 1 or 3% or 1 or 5% of the transactions on the 9-inch platform are supposed to burn the BBC token away. Well, there might be something like added to that, an additional burn feature too. So whatever, that's the kind of the adaptability that I've been talking about PulseChain originally, is like we're an EVM chain, but so effectively we can take any upgrade that we want or don't want. So we're like a really fast ship. We can take any upgrade, or like, this upgrade sucks. Let's just roll it. We're not doing this anymore. Right. So we can add all these extra upgrades to these platforms, which is really cool. So I think that's what's going to happen, is that once it's like, there probably will be nothing for incentive token until a competitor comes out, and then the incentive token doesn't upgrade to be better than that. And then that's when we'll probably get a pump on incentive.
Great stuff. Thank you, Dollar Cost. That's excellent. Sure. So guys, we got this music producer from New Zealand in the chat here. He's onboarded 50 people now in music because he got awarded New Zealand's best producer. So that's incredible, Ricky Paul Music. Yeah, guys, if you're in that industry, then hit him up. So we're going to go into our giveaway now and wrap the stream up. So this is exciting time. So Make It Miriam, do you want to show everyone the first giveaway? This is hashtag hat. Do you want to just hold it up again for me? And then I will share my screen and we'll draw the winner. Oh, the colors are on point.
There we go.
I love it. Okay, let me share my screen and I'll show you the random tracker here that I've got going on. Let's see what you guys can see. Okay, so you can see my screen that I've got here. So we got 7 entries for hashtag hat. Here we go. We're going to draw it. Awkward if I win. Hey, Clinchon! Congratulations on the hashtag hat. So yeah, just hit up Miriam in her DM. She's at Make It Miriam, and get your hat. All right, next hashtag that we're going to do. I'm going to reset my my giveaway
tool. So how do
tool.
people do the hashtag? Do they have to be in the chat on Twitter?
Yeah, in the chat. Yeah, and it links to other social media that connects to this StreamYard as well.
All right, listen, you got you lazy son of a bitches right now. I want as many hashtag hats as fucking possible right now.
Oh, no, keychain. We're on to hashtag keychain.
I'm tired of this shit. Make It Miriam has worked day and night for you assholes, and there's no hashtags in the chat. I want hashtags now.
All right, chat. You need to put hashtag keychain. Miriam, can you show them what hashtag keychain might win them? Okay. You hold it up while I said the wrong hashtag. I'm gonna reset this thing. Here we go. Oh, 9 comments. All right. Let's share. Share the screen. Here we go. Make sure you guys can see it. 16 entries. Here we go.
Boom. I should yell louder.
That was so funny. Oh, who's it going to be? Sammy Chica. Oh!
So close.
Oh, Sammy, I'm sorry. Oh, Sammy, I'm sorry. Moon Nut, congratulations.
That's all right.
It's actually Moon Mutt, guys. It's not Moon Nut. It's Moon Mutt. That's my bad. Okay. We got hashtag PulseX. Miriam, please show them what hashtag PulseX is going to get them.
Okay,
now,
so
with this
hashtag PulseX. That's the hashtag. I want to double check for the chat. I'm trying to give the chat some heads up right here so you can we get one of these.
Oh, it might. I'm not sure if it's case sensitive, everyone. So like type lowercase, okay?
Okay.
All right, we got 6 entries. I'm going to give it a few more seconds there, and I'm going to share my screen.
If you care for your life and you like money, I would do a hashtag PulseX right now.
Yeah. Oh, 15 entries. All right, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Draw. Ooh, Dingo's in there. DJ Creditus is in there. Alan's in there. Whoa, Ricky Paul Music!
Yeah.
He's a New Zealand friend, a New Zealand producer. Congratulations, man. Hit up Miriam in the DMs. All right, last hashtag. We got hashtag Hex. Miriam, show them what they can get.
I better see 55 entries right now or I'm going to get mad. I'm going to get real mad right now. I see 55 entries for hashtag Hex.
Make it mad, everyone. Don't make it mad. Come on. Oh, that collects. I'm going to share my screen. Wait, two. What? It's only 3 entries. Oh, 14.
Oh, okay.
I'll give it a couple more seconds. Okay, so while we... Oh, okay, I'm going to let that one build up for a second. And I'm going to see if there's any questions while that one does its thing. We're on 22. I got 123 live, so
If I don't get
We'll see.
55 in here, I'm leaving the stream right now. I'm done running the stream right now. We're ending it right now. If we don't get 55,
he's going to
it's
do it.
over.
He's going to do it. All right, we had 28 entries. Drop. Oh, Charlie's in there. Oh, we got to draw it again. Oh no, we got to draw it again. Sorry, Ricky, we got to draw it again.
It's a lucky one today.
Yeah, he's lucky. Wait, we draw that one again. See how we go. Boom. Oh, now we got 33 entries. Draw.
Okay. Yo, shut the Westcott. I think I just saw him in there. That's funny.
Hey,
Congrats.
congrats. So guys, we got like maybe 5 minutes of socials. What shall we ask Dollar Cost Crypto here on the social question? Sammy, hit him with the socials.
GCC. I watch your show. I love watching your stuff. And I got a comment that I was watching you, and you did say that PulseChain would launch mid-May, and I was quite impressed that it actually did happen. So I'm a fan believer in your work, and I love it. So if I was betting on a horse, and all Richard Hart products, one was PulseX, one was Inc. What's going to be the winner?
For percentage gains, you mean? Like which one's going to pump the most, basically, right?
X gains, X's.
Oh, fuck.
Good question.
Shoot me now. So right now, probably, obviously, we're seeing PHEX is doing really well right now, right? Like compared to everything else, but it's not really pumping. It's just not dumping. Right? So I mean, let's be real. It isn't like it's at 5 cents or nothing, right? So pretty much what I'm seeing right now is that while we're still in this kind of muddy little zone right now, we're for the next, I'd say, till like maybe Q1 of 2024 or so till now, we're probably going to see PX be a good safe bet in terms of like where to keep it. Well, God damn it! Wait, hold on. It's like asking me to choose which kid's my favorite. You know, we all know, but we can't say. But I'll say, I think PHEX and stuff PHEX is probably going to make the most amount of X's, but then here's the X factor is that PulseChain can go much more. It's much more palatable and can go viral much better than Hex can because people understand it's an L1 token. So once the marketing starts up and stuff, and then Richard gets out of hibernation probably, and we get a lot of the YouTube. We have a lot of YouTubers that are big ones that did sacrifice where they haven't talked about it too much that are going to get back on the YouTube wagon and start really talking about it. So it could be sort of a thing where like PHEX is really in first place, and then PulseChain kind of comes roaring from the back basically. But the thing is it's really a race. Like people. God damn, it's hard. I don't know. Like it's really tough to tell you the percentage gains. Like because like from what I think I said this earlier on a tweet, not a tweet storm. Was it? Yeah, maybe it was a tweet storm or something like that, right? Where I said, what was my bearish all-time high for Hex? Right, it was $2 this cycle. I still believe that's going to happen, $2. But now because of the way the whole PHEX and EHEX has kind of come out. Like, I still think that we actually probably can get a testing of all-time highs on EHEX still.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to get $1 and some change on PHEX.
Do you think the documentary, when the documentary comes out, you reckon EHEX it's gonna affect EHEX or both?
It's going to affect both, but it's going to affect EHEX probably a little bit more just because people will be able to buy it on Ethereum, of course, right? And then some people may choose to dump it at that time. We'll have to see. It all depends on how hyped it is and how what the market is. But it's going to be generally really good for Hex and PHEX. So maybe PHEX pumps up to 3 cents and we get to like a penny on EHEX. Not bad.
That's I'm excited about this documentary.
Yeah,
like RG's in the chat here. Where is he? There he is. He reckons it's going to pump like for sure. This documentary coming out. We know we got the official trailer in 3 days. Everyone's just pumped to hear about the trailer and then the premiere as well and what's going on with that. So guys, we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate all of your time, and Dollar Cost, thank you for being our extra special guests, and ladies, you're our extra special guests as well. Those giveaways were fire, Miriam. Like, people were into that. Love that. All right, so we'll just go around and we'll say our goodbyes there. Sammy, any last comments?
Hex Australia meetup, Hex Pulse Australia meetup, Sydney, October 13 to 15. A couple of people message in chat asked there's still spots. Yes, we've got 80 people, but there's still spots. So DM me at Sammy Chica on Twitter, and I'll give you out the form and tell you the details. And thanks for having me, Claire. It's good to see all you ladies in DC, and thanks for watching chat.
Yeah, thanks, Sammy. Miriam.
So obviously winners message me on Twitter and you can find me on pretty much all socials as Make It Miriam. Also, Gary did mention if anyone goes out to buy something on my site, he will also offer to buy an extra one for you guys. So it's like a buy one, get one.
Oh, that's so nice. That's awesome. Thanks, Miriam. Appreciate you. Raquel.
I was just happy to be here as always. I love coming on the show. I love getting to be here next to Dollar Cost and Gary, which are two people that I admire. So thanks, guys, for coming on and letting me be here with you.
Thanks, Raquel. I love having you on. Dollar Cost Crypto, any final comments or thoughts?
There's a lot, but I won't say it. No.
Let it out, man. Let it out. Don't let me hold you back.
Don't get fudded out. There's a lot of people the reason I call myself dollar cost crypto is because it's about dollar cost averaging. Obviously, you're not dollar cost averaging all the way to the bottom. You wait a while and then start averaging. I think right now is a great time to start buying. And if it possibly, I think we're really close to the bottom already, personally. We might be 30% away at most from the bottom, outside of just a horrible, horrible nuclear disaster, of course, in the world. Outside of anything crazy like that, we've dumped already pretty far. What PulseX has dumped down to 2.8 or so, and it's pumped back up a little bit and stuff. We talk literally PulseChain dropped to 6 or 7 for a second, and now we're back up to 9 again. We're pretty close already to the bottom. Everyone that was going to sell already sold already, or has already cried their eyes out. And now is a great time to accumulate coins, accumulate Ethereum, because you're going to kick yourself in the ass a year from now when you're just like, fuck, I should have bought more. Every time. It happens every single time. It doesn't matter. You never buy enough. And you're always mad that you didn't. You really are. So that's all I got to tell you guys. Just don't let sometimes it's just turn off Twitter. Just turn it off. Because everybody, and right now, all of Twitter right now is just a giant clusterfuck of everyone. Everyone's just saying shit to try to get popular and views and shit. That's really what it is. It's not even for money. They're not even trying to make money. They're just trying to get clout. So just sometimes it's just flip the fucking phone over and just don't watch it anymore, and just stick to your stuff, and then keep watching the videos and stuff, but just stay off of the Twitter drama and stuff. Everyone's just everyone's just trying to take the piss out of everybody. And then I've got an event coming out here in Vegas, August 5th and the 6th here in Las Vegas. You guys are more than invited to come out. Crypto Mindset Meetup is coming out, and we've rented out a I can't say just yet. We're gonna say it on Moon Gang, but we'll tell you what hotel we're gonna be at and stuff. We're gonna do an event at one of the Las Vegas hotels here, and we're gonna have a lot of people from the Red Pill there as well and stuff. So there you go.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Dollar Cost Crypto. Appreciate you. And I wish I lived in the US. I would totally be at that meetup. I think that would be actually a huge opportunity. I'm doing sometimes I'm in Australia. So in the audience, actually before the stream, I reached out to quite a few prominent Legacy and Red Pill people in their DMs to let them know about the stream who may be watching. I would say if you're a 6 or 7 figure player and you would like to connect with someone from PulseChain and ask questions, Dollar Cost Crypto and Funding Gym are our advocates in that regard. So yeah, thanks everyone for a great stream. Appreciate all of you. Thank you, chat. You had some great questions, and I hope you appreciate the gifts for the prize, winners. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.
Hey.